Well, the battle over who can marry whom in the state of Idaho doesn't go back, well, as far as you might think. Well, I mean, we did have laws banning interracial marriage dating back to 1864, which was amended in 1921 to include, and I'm quoting here, Mongolians, Negroes, or mulattoes. Well, those laws were eventually repealed, but not until 1959. But when it came to gender, there was nothing in our original state constitution defining marriage. That didn't happen until 2006, when Idaho voters agreed to amend the Constitution to say, quote, a marriage between a man and a woman is the only domestic legal union that shall be valid or recognized in this state. And that was the case for more than 7 years, until that amendment was confirmed to be unconstitutional by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. That happened 11 years ago today, making same-sex marriage legal in Idaho. Well, in today's 208 Redial, the reaction to years-long battle for the marriage equality in the Gem State.
All you need is love, love.
Late Friday afternoon, the U.S. Supreme Court lifted the hold on same-sex marriages in Idaho. It ended a roller coaster journey for the plaintiffs in this case.
And then this week has been crazy. This week has been insane.
Sue Latta and her partner Tracy were married in California. Now that marriage is recognized in Idaho.
And equal protection under the law is an important thing. That marriage matters intrinsically and extrinsically. It matters, taxes and estate planning and all that stuff, but it also matters being, legally recognized.
Latta says this is an unprecedented civil rights battle with states across the country fighting for same-sex marriage.
I love the idea that we fought this battle and we get to go down in history as the people who at least won it for the Ninth Circuit, or at least won it for Idaho.
She plans to get back to married life legally in Idaho for the first time. Fellow plaintiff Amber Byerly and her partner say it's about time.
We love Idaho, and Idaho's ready for this, and I really hope that any detractors, including the governor, would just understand that.
Governor Otter and the state appealed the decision all the way to the Supreme Court. Now couples are just waiting for the Ninth Circuit Court to give the go-ahead.
We've been waiting for this for, since we've been together, and then there's been so many oh, it can happen, and then letdowns, and so we just want it to happen and be married and enjoy the benefits that everyone else gets, and then go on with our lives.
Latta says the next step is getting recognition in the Idaho Human Rights Act.
Well, more on the Human Rights Act push in a moment. But back to the part of that story where Amber Byerly hoped any detractors, including Governor Butch Otter, would just understand Idaho is ready for this. Well, that sentiment didn't quite make it to the second floor of the State House because Governor Otter would appeal that decision of the Ninth Circuit Court to the U.S. Supreme Court. However, the justices already agreed to hear another case from several other states, and in June of 2015, the court's opinion in Obergefell versus Hodges guaranteed states must recognize same-sex marriage in all 50 states, basically nullifying Idaho's 2006 amendment. But that hasn't ended the push to enforce it. Remember this past session when Republican Representative Heather Scott, hoping to piggyback on the Dobbs decision out of the Supreme Court, was pushing a House joint memorial, basically a strongly worded letter asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell. She called it a matter of federalism.
This is not a memorial about defining marriage. It's about who gets to define marriage. Do we want the state to make those decisions, or do we want to allow the Supreme Court to make those decisions?
Okay, so she doesn't want the Supreme Court to make that decision, yet her joint memorial does just that. She says, be it further resolved that the Idaho legislature calls upon the Supreme Court of the United States to reverse Obergefell and restore, and this is where it gets into this point, the natural definition of marriage, a union of one man and one woman. Well, that memorial did pass the House 46-24 last session, but it never got a hearing in the Senate. Now, about getting LGBTQ couples getting recognition in the Idaho Human Rights Act, that still hasn't happened. Going back to 2006, such a bill has only received one public hearing.